I'm Andrew McCrae, host of Farming the Countryside. Conservation is important to us here on our multi-generational farm in Missouri, and we continue to be inspired to try new things based on the shared experiences of other producers. There's no better proving ground for climate-smart practices than working farms and ranches. We're visiting operations around the country to learn how conservation is driving agriculture into the future for healthier soils, improved yields, more resiliency to weather, and diverse habitats that benefit both farming and the ecosystem around us. Today we're in Indiana.
When I started here at Lawrence Community Gardens, it was just an open field, and all I had was just a vision. And so I let the vision take me. My family, my ancestors were farmers. Where Zionsville is now, in Zionsville, Indianapolis, used to be all farmland. And growing up, my family had a farm out there. And so every weekend we would go there, we would pick our food for the week, our produce. In 2016, I was taking a class, urban agriculture certificate class at Purdue Extension, Marion County, over at the fairgrounds. So as I would ride by here, I noticed that they would just cut the grass once a month. They weren't doing anything else, and there was just all of this land here in this area that was labeled America's largest food desert. We are Indianapolis' largest community gardening space. We have 7.5 acres here, technically a farm. So we decided to make it a non-traditional community garden space where the entire community can come in and help us to create that magic here. And for their labor, they can take food home.
Urban farms are at the source of producing food for their communities. And these farmers are doing so much more than just growing food. They are building community, they are addressing food deserts, food access issues, and creating communities that thrive requires having small-scale agriculture.
I started this project with the vision that it would not only provide affordable access for this community to organic, fresh foods, but also fight food insecurity by donations to the pantry. We accept SNAP here, we accept WIC here.
Being able to share our programs, our services with different communities is truly key. Moving more in the area of small farm and urban conservation. We've taken steps to visit with those communities, visit with those groups, and explain the details of what we do. Indiana took the step forward and said, we have to make this a priority. We actually took that step prior to the pandemic happening. And while all of that was going on, it made you realize there's an access to food problem around the country. And this particular program can help with that, can help mitigate some of that. It's exciting.
I felt that it was important that I was able to become a conservation steward and also share that knowledge with other urban farmers. In the past, urban farmers have been excluded from the conservation movement altogether because it's a smaller scale production, right? But as times are changing and we understand the impact that our small urban farmers are having on each individual city, that it becomes more important that we make them aware of how to do crop rotations, the value of mulching, the value of adding different conservation techniques, even along with bees, adding those into the farm. I can tell you from experience that we don't know what we don't know, right? If I had not reached out to NRCS, my project would not have grown as fast as it has. Our project has exploded to the point where I can no longer manage it alone. And that's the impact the NRCS has on a project like mine.
We start with conservation planning, looking at what are the resource concerns. Are we having issues with soil erosion or water quality? Through that process, ultimately we come up with a series of practices or measures that we're going to recommend to address those kinds of issues on the ground. It's just part of the service that we provide as the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service. We provide that service to people free of charge. We'll come out onto your land and listen to your problems, listen to your concerns, and hopefully be able to come up with some solutions.
You just got to start somewhere. If you don't ever plant a seed, nothing will ever grow. And so to plant the seed, to start somewhere, is what I would encourage anyone to do, because Lawrence Community Garden is blessing the community here, but it has blessed me far more than it has blessed anyone else.